Hey guys, here's another demonstration video for you. What we're going to be doing is manually flushing a print head. Um, I'll start off with saying this is basically a last-ditch effort to try to reclaim a print head, but I definitely want you to know the correct procedures if you ever try to do this, okay? Um, the reason I would do this is because I have some plug nozzles or something to that order that I cannot clear out. I would definitely talk with a technician before you try to do this procedure at all. Because you need to make sure that this is what needs to be done, okay? Because you do take a chance of damaging your machine if you do this improperly. All right, so the things that you should know before trying to do this is you need to make sure that your ink lines are actually able to have ink movement, okay? Also, you need to make sure that the dampering system is working properly as well, that it's not just starving the ink out. An easy way to tell these things is sometimes you can get a perfect nozzle check and then they just slowly start to fade out. That's usually not your print head. It's usually if your ink lines are clear, no kinks, no anything like that, and your dampers are newer, not causing starvation. If it's just like one channel or something like that, it could be a damper versus the print head being clogged. Especially if the nozzle check will be good one time and then bad another and good another time, that's usually more of a dampering issue or something to that order. Also, another thing that can cause bad nozzle checks is your capping station being clogged or semi-clogged. So I would definitely get in touch with a technician so that way they can troubleshoot with you before you actually go into this stuff. All right, some of the stuff we're going to need a syringe. You can use the DTG cleaning solution, which has a higher alcohol content than the flushing solution, but the flushing solution will work as well. Rubbing alcohol by itself will work nicely as well, or Windex. All right, so what I'm going to do, I've also got a little piece of tubing. This is the 3/32, that's 3/32 size diameter tubing. It will fit snugly around the post of the print heads as where the dampers go. All right, so what I'll do with this piece of tubing, and where you can find this tubing, you can call into your support department and order like a foot of it. It's like $1.20 per foot. And that way you can cut off a little piece and wedge it onto the end of your syringe. All right, just like so. Okay. Also, we'll need to remove the print head as well from the machine. That is one of the most important rules of ever trying to do this. You will never try to do this with inside the machine. You take a chance of getting drips or spills and it leaking down here on these little connectors where those ribbon cables plug in. And what that will do is not only burn out your print head, the short ribbon cables or the ribbon cables in general for your machine, and possibly the main board. So that's why I say this is a last ditch effort to try to reclaim a head. So it does not always work. All right, so I have already removed this print head from my M2 here that I have beside me. And I want to show you kind of how it works. All right, I'm going to pause for just 1 second and go get some paper towels. I will be right back. Okay, so got my paper towel here. Sorry for the delay. Let me slide this around here. Let's show you this procedure here. All right, so I got a little cup to catch the waste coming out of the head. I've got my syringe filled with my rubbing alcohol with the 3/32 tubing. One of the things I do like to do is I can have a cup just wide enough where I can set it on the side here so that way it braces itself. All right. If not, you're going to have to hold this at kind of an angle right here so these little plugs face up. All right, because you do not want anything dripping down here on this connection. If anything drips onto here or gets wet on this little circuit board back here and you plug this back into your machine, it will burn out the print head, it will burn out those ribbon cables, and possibly your main board. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll firmly place this. I'll start at the back end here so I can kind of see what's going on. I definitely have a paper towel handy so that way I can catch any big drips. But I will wedge this tube right down on this post. Let's bring you in a little bit closer here. All right. So then what I'll do is give gentle but firm pressure and I will spray through the print head. Let's see if we can lower this down real quick, so that way you can see the spray coming out of the head. All right. So, as you're looking at this, it should cascade all the way across. Let's see if I can put this as a dark backdrop here. Put my bag up. So that way you can see the spray coming out a little bit easier. Okay. So as it sprays, you'll notice that it cascades like a waterfall all the way across the head. If you have these things spraying in weird directions and stuff, it is nozzle deflection and clogged nozzles. So I'll pull off and go on to the next channel. And you might have to run through each one of these channels a few times to get all the color out of it. So you can see that cascading all the way across the width of the head. Whew. All right. So blot that. And I usually put my finger up here on the post, so that way I kind of hold that tubing on there. And you notice I'm not giving that much pressure to it. It's just cascading through there. All right, now we're going to the white channels. All right. So you notice it's just a steady stream all the way across. They're spraying in all kinds of weird directions, or just not spraying at all, like you got a gap in that waterfall, that's where your clog is. So this was in a machine that's being used. So that's why I know that it has a good nozzle check. All right. So let me show you what another print head would do. Let me just blot this off real quick. And I'm basically just cleaning off my edges. If you ever do touch the nozzle surface, always do it with a really clean part of the cloth and lightly blot, never smear. You take a chance of taking dried ink into one of those nozzle holes that are like microscopic and plugging it right up. All right, so we'll set this one to the side. I'll put that one back in the machine in a second. I also have one of the Viper 2 print heads. They're a little bit different setup, but same kind of print head. And you'll notice that it has had ink in it. This has been sitting outside a machine for a day or so. So let's go ahead and work our way through this one. Making sure also that these connectors face up so nothing drains down towards them. Let's go ahead and do our colors. All right. So that did power through. So I'll run a little bit more through here. Let's go on to the next color. That's my black. Going pretty good so far. All right, blue. Then I'll go ahead and skip over here to yellow. And go ahead and blot this off a little bit down here. See some drips. All right, here's yellow. Still going pretty good. Now we're going to go on to the whites. Let me go ahead and put some more solution in here. So, first white. And this is the ones that I think are going to be the issues here. All right, maybe not. So, this looks like it's cascading all the way across. Go to the next white. So this white is taking a little bit more pressure there, and you notice that big gap. So that's a potential clog. So let's see if we can blot here, get some of this excess off. Run a little bit more. So I might be able to reclaim this if I keep working it. Another thing I could do is, while I'm doing this procedure, once I load the entire head up with the rubbing alcohol, I can also get like a little, like a saucer or something, just something flat. So that way I can just submerge the like millimeter top surface of this head down into like a cleaning solution, all right? So that way it can soak for a little while and then come back and work it some more with this syringe. But if I can't get these things to free up, I would have to replace the head. This one right here isn't cascading all the way across, and I see some basic gaps in there, so that will have to work itself out. If you cannot get this to cascade perfectly all the way across the head, you will never get a good nozzle check. I see a couple gaps in this one as well. So this print head would probably print at about 80 to 90% for the nozzle check. So I'll start back over with the whites again, because those are the ones that were giving me issues. So that one's definitely firing a little bit better, but I do have some nozzles on the edge that are firing in weird areas. So I have to be careful with that. And that one having that big gap right there in the middle, that's definitely going to be my nozzle check problem. All right, so for this particular print head, I probably would, to get a perfect nozzle check, I would probably definitely have to replace it. For this M2 print head that's been being used, I think I caught it quick enough that I was able to push out any debris. All right, so I'm just going to set this one here to the side. Oop. See if I can clean this off a little bit better. But this one's kind of damaged anyway, so I don't really need to be that special with it. All right, so let me clean up all my mess here. All right, so if you have any questions about this, you can actually give us a call, and we can go through and show you or explain how you can get a little bit better of a reaction from this. But that is the proper way to flush a head manually. So yeah, just be careful. All right, y'all have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.